Welcome to the Voiceover Gurus podcast. Honest advice, honest mistakes, honest people.
We're all figuring it out, just with better microphones.
The Son of a... The Gurus, where you can be yourself and screw up a line.
Where the mic's always hot and the advice is even hotter.
Real talk about what actually happens after you buy the mic.
It's the Voiceover Gurus podcast.
Yeah.
What are you going to do? You know,
Yep. You just don't care anymore.
Yeah, I really don't. I was saying that to Matt this morning. I said, you know what? I am getting to a point in my life where I need to stop beating myself up over stuff that I should have done. Stupid stuff like, oh, crap, I didn't empty the dishwasher today. Like really stupid stuff.
Yeah.
And the bottom line is nobody cares. I'm the only one that cares.
Nope.
And it's a really tough thing to get over. But welcome back to another episode of the Voiceover Gurus podcast. As promised, we're doing topic-based this go-around, which I thought would be a lot more fun. We share our personal experiences as voice actors in this business. And we welcome my good friend, Barb Lyon. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. So what did we want to talk about today? Our first big gig. What was it?
Okay, this was for Mercury Insurance.
How long ago was this? What was the year?
God, this probably would have been 2012, 2013.
Okay, so all right.
It was really one of the first big ones. I landed it off either voices.com or Voice123.
Okay.
I was on both at the time, didn't have any representation, wasn't like good at outreach at all.
Yeah. Didn't know
that's
about
really
all that
hard.
stuff. Uh-huh.
But it would have been off one of those two. And I remember they wanted to record on a weekday at like 10:30 a.m.
Okay.
And I still had a full-time job.
Ah, that's right.
But the good news is I had this like massive office and I had a whisper room that they needed room for it. So they put it in my office because the office was big.
Isn't that lucky?
And they're like, Barb's using it all the time anyway. We'll just put it in here. I'm like, okay. So I
Because you were using it to voice the IVR stuff you guys were working on, right? Okay.
Yeah. So I managed to I've got to go record something. I'll be out in a little bit. I figured if anybody caught me, I'd just say, I'm taking an early lunch, It was flexible enough where.
I would have been so nervous.
Yeah, I was. I was convinced I'd be ratted out. I was worried about the different mic. Because at home, I had a condenser mic, and at the office, it was a Shure SMB.
Oh, God.
I don't SM7B. It was, and that mic is it's dead. All it does is lay there. It's just dead. So I'm worried about all that, worried about the connectivity because Walsh uses IPDTL. And the client wanted Source Connect, but we settled on Phone Patch. So I'm okay, so I got to make sure I'm recording on my end. I get everything. And I got to clean it up, send it to them. So yeah, I was pretty much a flutter by the time we started.
I would have been dying.
And there was, I had been coached a lot because of the IVR work, but usually it was an IVR designer on the phone with you.
Yeah.
Sometimes a client, but not very often. So this was the engineer and 3 people from the client site. So I was okay, just make sure all the words come out of my face, okay? And the script is just delightful. I love it to this day.
Really?
I would do it differently today, but
you're a different voice talent
it's
now.
so well written. I just love it.
So who is it for? You can tell us now, right?
Mercury Insurance.
That's what you said. Okay.
This is when they were announcing their brand new app because apps were a new thing at the time.
Oh, my goodness. That
dates it a little bit.
Yeah, for sure.
So, we got rolling and I'm working. I'm okay, this is okay. Everything's holding together. Nothing's, completely come off the rails. And there was one line I had to deliver. And it was something even though we know insurance isn't always on your mind or is on our minds, we know there's a lot more on yours. And I did this little chuckle in there and they lit up. They were like, oh my God, that's great. That's great. And I was like, really? Okay. I'll give you more of it. Why not? You like
Where'd
that?
you put the chuckle?
We know there's a lot more on yours. So a little bit on the lot. So it was just.
That's advanced voiceover, though, technique.
Is it?
That's not like what a beginner would do.
Oh, well, I had been practicing for a long time before I got to this point. So
I was going to say, that's something that, like, somebody who's been doing it for a little bit learned some tricks, but it sounds good to me.
I think, it was just like I had mentally been practicing to do voiceover for so long. And at the time, I was going home every night, having dinner, and then doing auditions.
Wow.
And then getting up in the morning, going to work, coming home, having dinner, and doing auditions. So I was definitely doing the double duty.
The balance act.
Yeah.
That so many people do.
But when I delivered that line and they responded so well, I was like, oh my God, I'm a voice talent. Like, I can't believe this.
I want to get paid for this.
Yeah. And at that moment, I was just hooked, just absolutely hooked. And I still keep in touch with the engineer on the project and, haven't been able to circle back for more work, but at least the communication is positive.
So that was a good experience, actually.
Yes, it was.
I was hoping I was going to hear how you skinned your knees or something, on this
No.
project. Oh, Barb.
I can't remember any bad ones right now. And I don't think it's just because I'm like, Susie Sunshine and focusing on the positive. Something bad must have happened along the way. And eventually I will bring that to the front. I think I've just got it buried right now because maybe it was so traumatic.
We got to unpack it. I know. Some of the really traumatic stuff I can't recall either.
It's like you just kind of shoved that away.
I don't want to think about it again. I'm trying to think of my very ever first session, if I can call it a session. I was interning in Miami, my father's friend's video production company. So this was like 1990.
Okay.
And I was summer girl who would go out and grab lunch for everybody. And they would all be editing. And editing stuff. And I remember thinking, oh God, I don't want to do this for a living. It's so boring. It was so boring watching. If you ever watch somebody edit video, it's like, you're nodding off. And they said, hey, Linda, they said, we need someone for a video we're doing. You're being chased by a shark and you have to scream. So I'm like, okay. So there I did my couple of and walked out of there thinking, oh my God, I didn't get paid, but I would say that's the first time anybody asked me to ever do a job. I don't even think you call it a job.
Unpaid work is still work.
Is it though? I don't know. It feels better when the check's cash.
Of course, that always feels better. But you gotta do a little pro bono stuff up front, maybe to kind of get your foot in the door.
It makes sense. I know. And I was doing it to figure out if it was something that, like, a field that I wanted to go into, because I really thought it was going to be video production at the time, not being fully aware of how to jump into voiceover because it was difficult,
Yeah.
But I've had some bad sessions. Again, I think I'm like you. I blocked it out because sometimes it's the kind of session where things aren't going well. And for me, I get part of my body goes cold.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The realization, and you're like, it's like your breathing gets shallow. Or when you realize that you're working with a client that just doesn't like you.
Yeah.
And
like, this is not a love match. And
yeah.
I did have a really tough one last December.
Mm-hmm.
I found out it would be tough when it took probably 3-4 weeks to get awarded to me. It was on voices.com. And when it did, they sent me a note with all the people, all 12 of them, who would be involved. And I was like, oh, this is interesting. So,
like, you're talking like copywriters and ad agency people and...
Yeah, we were talking agency people from the client side, the producer or the engineer on the project. There had to be 3 or 4 people from, like, the middleman from the marketing company.
And were they going to be in the session with you?
Oh, yes.
God, so
I got on the call
people?
and there were all these faces on my Zoom screen. I'm like, welcome.
Oh, I hate that.
So we started working. One person was taking control of the directions, which was very good.
Yeah.
And my gut was like, I am not feeling this. Why am I not? This is good copy. Why am I not feeling this? And then suddenly another person appeared who must have been more senior than the rest of them. And they immediately defaulted to her. Whatever she says goes. Okay. So we got to redo a bunch of work. And I still just like, this does not feel right. This feels very detached and I don't know what they're doing. And we made it through all the pieces. and they had to do the Spanish later that day. But in the middle, they were going to have the client review. So I sat there in silence while the client was reviewing everything. And then they came back to me and said, yeah, well, we got some new direction from the client. And I'm like, oh, God. Oh, God. So they said, how's your afternoon? I'm like, oh, it's wide open for you. So, yeah, we reconvened and new direction, but I still wasn't feeling it.
Was it really drastic
very...
or no? What was the direction? How different was it? Was the
in my
script
heart
changed?
What's that?
Was the script changed? Was it adjusted? No. So you're using the same script, but they're guiding you a different way.
Yeah.
Okay.
And minusculely, it's a hospital script. To me, that reads like very warm and in touch, because they made a big deal in the casting about you have to be in touch with the Yuma community. You must be in the community. So I'm like, okay, this is warm. This is endearing. I can help you.
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't want it to be that warm.
So like,
they wanted
okay.
it to be more like detached and cold. And I'm just like, my brain is having this fight with my mouth and just...
Yeah.
They were happy in the end, or they said they were happy in the end, and some of them accepted my LinkedIn connection,
Mm-hmm.
but it just didn't feel right. And, it's a shame because it was big enough where it should have been something I was like really excited about and really proud of, but I'm more proud of the old Mercury insurance I did way back in 2012.
Oh, because that was a good experience.
Yeah, it was. And unfortunately on voices.com, no session fee. So I didn't get paid for the second time I joined them.
Oh, God, really?
Yeah. It's like I
That's
paid
painful.
once for the AM and the PM.
Oh, gosh.
And it ate like the whole day. Like the whole day was shot.
That sucks. That's a rough one. That
So
is a rough one.
You want a nightmare example? That was kind of nightmare-y.
That's pretty bad. I've had very rarely, but there have been a few times I've done sessions and I can just tell, they're not happy with what I'm doing, and I'm trying and I'm doing it again and again and again and again. And I will suggest, I'll say, look, no hard feelings. If I'm not the right person for this, it's cool, and it's true more because I want to get out of the situation.
I just want to make it stop.
Yeah, exactly. I don't care. I don't need to get paid. I want you, the client, to find what you truly want. Meanwhile, I'm like, let me get out of here. But I'm trying to think of, I haven't really had bad sessions. I remember my first big session because, I did car spots and stuff down in Fort Myers. So that I wouldn't consider, because you weren't really in front of a client. You were like I was with Brian Lee. So it was like a producer, and there's no pressure there. Mm-hmm. But I booked, when I first moved to New York, like 6 months in, I booked a Kinney Shoes spot. I have talked to you about this. Yeah. And it was back in the day when they had wild spots, so it would like air in various markets. So it wasn't national, but it was airing in all these markets. So I'm nervous as all get out because this is my very first thing. I'm like 27 years old, I know. And so I'm going to tell you something gross. Taking the train in to Penn Station to the city. And for me, if I get very nervous, my stomach just goes bad. So I get off the train, I hightail it to the bathroom in Penn Station. If anybody knows Penn Station, you're going to be like, oh my God, you actually did that. I had to, because it was like I had to do something to work through my nerves because they were so high. So I make it to the session, and it was actually in, it was in like Midtown in this gorgeous building, and it was like legit. So it makes me even more nervous. And I go up there, I know, to do the session. And I had iPod or whatever we used back in those days,
Yeah.
And I was continually playing like inspirational music to try to keep me going, And so I'm sitting outside they're like, oh, you can wait here. And there were 6 people in there waiting to watch me do these spots. And then they said, you've got 7 of them to do. And I'm like, okay. So, I'm listening. And I was listening to I Hope You Dance, Leanne Womack, because that one is like, yes, I'm going to dance. And I go in there and I guess I was so nervous that I did all 7 spots in 45 minutes. Yeah. And the producer was like, do you know that you just did 7 spots in 45 minutes? I'm like, no, really? And inside I'm thinking it's because I am about to crap my pants with this,
It's like my heart's going to crawl out of my throat. But
the nerves you feel, and you're just like, I don't, and I wasn't even getting criticized. It was a great session.
Yeah.
But to have the anxiety of that, and I guess, everybody, unless you're super cool about it all, you've got to feel some anxieties. You've got to feel.
You need that adrenaline lift to some degree, right? Because that drives you forward.
Truly.
And if you don't have it, like I didn't have in December, it was kind of like, well, I don't know what I'm doing. What am I doing here?
So I'm gathering that you haven't worked for them again?
No, but that was just December. So,
Oh, okay.
hasn't
So
been a lot of
pretty
time.
recent. Yeah. Did you see the finished project?
No, I haven't yet. I've been watching online. I can't find it.
Yeah.
So hopefully it'll be up soon. Hopefully when I hear it, I'll go, oh, that's what they were hearing. Okay. It's all right.
Well, they must have gotten out of you what they wanted.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, they sounded happy in the end.
Yeah.
And I don't think with the amount of money they had invested in this venture, they would have accepted anything less. So
True. Yeah. That's funny. Do you remember the audition? Sorry to cut you off.
No, that's good.
When you were with Walsh, I don't know if are you still working with Walsh?
No. I mean, I do voiceover for them, but.
You're not, So when you were with Walsh and I did the audition for WAMU, Fink. Do you remember that?
Would you like a gold pen?
Yes. An hour and a half. And it was like, say thank you as if I'm handing you a gold pen. Say thank you as if you hate me. Say thank you as if I just cheated on you with, your ex-wife. And the whole time I'm like, are they crazy? And they were giving me like no feedback. Do you remember that? It was just like, repeat, repeat, repeat. And I remember the end of the audition. It was an audition. I didn't even have the job. I call you and I go, oh my God, they did not like me. I totally screwed that up. And you're like, no, it's good. It's good. Next thing you know, I get hired. But you never know. It's the nerves. That's putting you through your paces. And I try to tell people that haven't done this very much that it's almost like you have to put yourself in the fire.
Yeah.
To get the good performance, to learn the lesson. And it's scary as all get out, but.
Yeah. You have to test your mettle. You got to see how much can I take?
Yeah. Because now a lot of it is unsupervised. Sessions are unsupervised. A lot of people want to go. So they're like, here's the script, turn it around. So I feel like newer talent that are coming in are not being put to the, their feet aren't being put to the flames. As much. And
they're also missing out, man. I mean, because, we just told some horror stories about patch sessions, but I love them. Yeah. I mean, usually you develop a rapport with the client and you kind of figure out, okay, they're sort of like this. And, then you can settle into something that, okay, this is going to be mutually good. Yeah. And if you're left alone to record, man, I am my own worst enemy. What's that? Did I miss that?
Because you're,
second guess everything. And it'll take me like forever to get it done because I'm so busy taking take 3, take 4, take 5, take 20, take 30, take 40.
Are you really doing that many takes? Are you really questioning yourself?
I mean, it depends what it is. If it's like a tiny little spot, like a 15-second spot, I might do multiple takes. If it's like a longer form narration, I'm trying to keep it to 2 or 3 just to find the right one. But you can really beat yourself up if you don't have any guardrails. And being patched provides you guardrails. Says no, less of this, more of that.
Yeah, and as stressful as it can be, the project gets done quicker.
Yeah, it does.
That's go ahead.
It's funny. I was thinking about something my husband said this morning, how he's been seeing all these 11 Labs commercials that pop up in his feed, and he's just like sick to death of them. And he said, I found out today that 11 Labs must have the Morgan Freeman sounding guy. That must be through 11 Labs because the ad was for a different company. And they were saying that, well, with ours, you can change the inflection and make them sound, give them different, give different attitudes. So if you want them to say a line snarky, you can do that. If you want them to say a line sad, you can do that. So they have all the different emotional states.
Right.
Your voiceover could be in. And he's like, oh, great. Here we are in the AI wars now. He's like, wouldn't it just be faster to hire a person and tell them how you want it said?
That's what it comes down to. Hello? Because you still have to tell the AI exactly what, and the AI, if you're dealing with a human might pick it up and go, oh, no, you mean like this, and give you also, AI doesn't have a freaking soul.
No, it does not.
You know, you and I having a conversation and going by each other's nuances and the invisible roadmap of how the conversation goes, you don't create artificially. And the human ear can hear it.
Yeah.
And
if you're taking somebody's conversation and training another thing off it, you're just stealing.
Right.
Why don't you just have the conversation?
Right. I know.
Is it that painful? Have we become so insular, so COVID-19 insular that we can't have conversations?
I think that there's a backlash happening now. You know, I'm finding with clients, I don't know about with you, they are hyper aware. And if I do something too perfect, you know, I get accused of, are you using your AI? Did you sell your? Yeah. One of my clients, long-term client, reached out to me about 6 months ago and said, Linda, my staff is wondering, have you cloned your voice into AI and are you using it to do our projects? And it's for an on-hold company, so it's not like, you know, and I'm like, what are you talking about? I would never, ever, integrity, never, ever, ever in a million years do it. I don't care how much money you get for it. And so I got offended. I was a bit offended because I'd known them for like 15 years to think that they do that. So she says, well, do you know, have you seen this website? She sends me this website. And someone took my voice from Playhouse Disney in Asia, put it up there and said, Linda Bruno from Disney Junior and Playhouse Disney Junior Asia. And you could take my voice, type in whatever you wanted. But Barb, it sounded awful. Like it didn't sound like, it was like right up here, this whole thing. It was so bizarre. And she's like, were you involved with this? And I'm like, I didn't know, you don't know about that.
Yeah.
And it didn't sound really like me, but the fact that they were using my name, they were using a credit, you know, and they were using it to draw people to say, you can make this voice do whatever you want. So I contacted that company and I said, you need to take me off your site. I'm getting my lawyer. And literally within the hour, they'd removed everything because they didn't reply to me. They didn't reply. Suddenly my page had disappeared, you know, but then I went back to the client. I said, I had no idea about this and trust me. And I said, please send me audio files of what you think. It sounds AI. And she says, well, she plays it for me. And I said, well, to be honest, a lot of your messages are very similar and I'm just replacing a time, you know, so it's like Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 5:30, Monday through Friday, 7:30 to 5:30. And I said, so I have a tendency, I'll get into a rhythm. Yeah. So I'll break the rhythms. You know, I'm having to go back to, I'll make some mistakes. I'll let my voice have some gravel in it. You know, you have to.
Yeah. I was just having that text exchange with my coach and telling her that I'm working really hard to resist the urge to correct if I do the slightest stumble or if there's a little gravel in my voice or anything like that, because I'm trying to make sure it sounds very natural, very conversational, and people want those slight imperfections now. When, you know, you and I were raised in the 70s and, you know, anybody who was doing a commercial spoke very nicely.
Yes, perfect voices. That's how I was trained.
Yeah, exactly. We learned well, and it's
pretty voices,
kicking our butt these days.
Now it's like, you know, we want you for what you sound like, and I'm like, what? Really? You want this? I don't think this sounds very good, but all right. But then therein lies the real basis of it. Acting.
Yeah. And I'm like, what is it I sound like? Please tell me. I spend so much time trying to bend to everybody else's wants. I don't know what I actually sound like.
And the tough part is, though, if you focus on it too much, you lose the performance.
Yeah.
Because then you're thinking, how am I sounding? You know, the whole thing that we've tried to get away from as well. You know?
We're just damned if we do and damned if we don't.
You know what? We're riding the wave of all the changes.
Yeah.
Like everybody is. But it's fun to know that, you know, everybody has crazy sessions, wacky sessions, good sessions, and hopefully more good than wacky if you stay in the business long enough.
Yes.
But I figured you'd have a few stories for us.
A little bit, yeah. I mean, I'm sure there's more I could conjure up. I just like you, I've buried them deep beneath.
I remember there was a difficult client that was out of Germany, and I was sending them audio files, and they were like, this audio file doesn't sound professional. And they were cutting me and they were like, are you even working out of a studio? And I was like, yeah, I mean, I actually I had a professional studio just like I do now. And they just continued to say, no. So it finally got to the point where I'm like, I don't know what else to do. And I was even having Dave fix it and listen to it. He's like, I don't hear what they're hearing. You get to a point sometimes when you're like, well, I've done the best that I can.
Wow.
And the old adage of what, you can't please everybody all the time.
No, you can't. But that's a really, that's one of those where it's like, you're hearing something else. You're calling it A, but it's really B. And I'm trying to fix A until you tell me what B is. I don't know what to fix.
I know.
I had a client in California who would repeatedly come back to me and say, it sounds too nasal. And I'm like, nasal? My nose is attached to my face. What the hell do you want me to do about it? It's like, I don't think I'm like this.
Right.
And at one point I told her, I'm like, you know what? I'm from Illinois. I don't sound like I'm from California. I think you want the California sound. So
maybe.
If you ever branch out, let me know.
What?
But otherwise, I don't think this is going to work.
It was like she was set on what she heard. She heard what she heard.
Yep.
And like you couldn't.
And I think sometimes when clients don't know what to complain about, they just say nasal.
Yeah.
They're like, that's a word I know. Okay, I'll say that.
Oh, my favorite sometimes I'll hear in the session too, and it really annoys me because it's just, you're sounding like this. Don't say the word like this. Say the word like this. And they're trying to give me, and I'm like, okay, so you want it like this. And they'll go, no, you still sound like you're like this. And I'm like, thank God there's no cameras. That's what I don't like to do on camera with clients because the whole time I'm like,
you can't like, roll your eyes
screaming.
Or flip them off or anything.
Right. But you have that client who decides that they hear it better than you, even though, you basically based your life on listening to things and recreating audio. Yeah, it takes all types. It takes all types.
It does.
Yeah. But there's many, many, many. Now that we're talking, there's many stories.
Yeah, they're starting to resurface, aren't they?
I know. And I promised everybody that I wasn't going to have long podcast episodes. So I think we covered what we wanted to cover. And then next time we get together, we can expand.
That sounds beautiful. I'd love to do it.
BarbLyonVO.com. Yes. Is that still your website?
BarbLyon.com.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a new thing?
Oh, a few years.
Okay. Well, new to me.
Yeah, maybe.
Right. Not many people can get their name anymore.
Well, there are a few other Barb Lyons out there, but I don't think they've bothered with websites. They're like PhDs and stuff, so.
Okay, good for you. There's a Linda Bruno out there, but she's a volleyball coach at some big college. Oh. Yeah. But again, no, shouldn't bother with the website. But anyway, I appreciate you so much. Thanks for coming on to the Voiceover Gurus podcast again.
I'm very happy to, Linda, anytime.
And chatting about good old topics for the voiceover business. And you want to know, we're going to give it to you straight. And hopefully you enjoyed our little stories. Head to the website, voiceover.guru. I talk about the community like it's going out of style, but I love it. It's fun. And you could do script challenges. And then even if you don't want to do the script challenge, you can listen to other people's script challenges, which is the best.
And they are a community. They actually had a picnic this year.
Yes. We had a bit of a picnic.
Come on. Who has a picnic?
We had a large barbecue. Yes. A 3-day weekend. But yeah, join the community. It is free to join. And it's a great place to meet people that are also in the same like mind as you. Hopefully, if you're starting out, even if you're not, there's a lot of people that join the community that are just thinking about it. And they just want to be able to kind of be a fly on the wall and hear about things like this or talk to other people. But Barb's in the community, which is nice. Voiceover.guru. And everybody have a great rest of your day. Thank you. Woohoo.